What's the most overrated tourist destination? Hollywood Boulevard. It's crowded, full of homeless people, and kind of smells like pee. Plymouth Rock. It's just a rock. In a hole, with 1620 carved on it. At least you don't have to pay to see it. I grew up in the area. I was having dinner nearby while visiting home with my wife, not from the area. She sees a kid sitting on a stone wall on the Plymouth waterfront across the street sobbing. What do you think that's all about? Me, just another flyover state kid who just figured out his parents traded his Disney vacation for an RV trip to see a rock. The Mona Lisa in Paris. It's relatively small and it's hard to really see anything. Yes. But the Louvre in general is worth visiting in my opinion. Definitely, and if you get to the Mona Lisa's room, just turn around. On the opposite wall is the wedding at Cana. It's huge, 7 by 10 meters, and arguably even more impressive, but most people barely notice it because they just want to take a blurry picture of Mona Lisa. The Alien Museum in Roswell, New Mexico. I am pretty sure I have said it here before, but I will say it all again. My great-grandparents had bought a small cabin in Ruidoso NM when my mother was 18. So once a year growing up, me and my family would spend a week up there. On our way to Ruidoso we would drive through Roswell. Every year I would beg my mom to stop and take us. She never did. Well, finally when she had grandkids they convinced her to stop so they could see the aliens. I was 23 at the time and was absolutely stoked. Y'all, that was the lamest bunch of stuff I had ever seen. I could have looked up X-File posters online. I went somewhere that's internationally known for being touristy and it was too touristy, smelled like piss, crowded, boring. My favorite when this was asked was somebody complaining they went to Wall Street and it wasn't touristy enough, like, WTF. Did you expect to be able to jump on the trading floor and buy a stock? Clearwater, FL. You can just drive an extra 10 minutes south of it and get the same quality beach but with no people. Hollywood Boulevard. Growing up right outside downtown LA, we'd always go when family would visit. The huge mall they clearly invested in isn't particularly special, the stars are sitchy and get old quick, and it just gets sad after walking 2 blocks from the Chinese theater when you start running into homeless encampments. Edit also should include obligatory complaint about parking and traffic trying to get there. All of Dubai. Edit. As a Abu Dhabi resident, I don't understand the image that many foreign have of Dubai. Dubai is nothing but a shopping center, nothing else. The whole country doesn't have much to offer to, especially the fact that it's a very young country. I've heard countless stories from my foreign teacher, European, American, of their friends and family dying to go there, which they too don't understand. Like I said, Dubai is just a touristy attraction. All that is there is Dubai Mall and tall buildings. Edit 2.0, for anyone who's interested in visiting the country UAE as a whole, I would recommend going there from November mid-February as the country is very very hot and humid and there are many places that don't open throughout the summer. Places to visit in Abu Dhabi: the Sheikh Zayed Mosque, Louvre, Mangroves, Yas Island which includes Warner Brothers World, Ferrari World and Yas Water World. Bateen Liwa, Al Emirat Park, Wahat Al Karama War Memorial, Sheikh Zayed Heritage Festival, November to February only, Global Village, winter only, Qasr Al Hosan, winter only. Al Ain is a really nice place to visit. It's an hour ride from Abu Dhabi, although there isn't much to do there. I would recommend going to Al Ain Zoo, Jebel Hafit, Al Ain Oasis, Al Ain Palace Museum, Al Jahili Fort. Kalba City in Sharjah. Dubai, Dubai Miracle Garden, winter only, Dubai Parks, Motion Gate, Bollywood Parks, Legoland, Legoland Water Park, Global Village, winter only, Old Dubai Region. Times Square in New York. It's a tourist trap and the restaurants and shopping aren't really unique to NYC. Why go to Times Square to eat when you can eat at the same places in a Midwestern city for cheaper? Times Square is actually a pretty awesome place to visit and then immediately leave from to eat, maybe in nearby Hell's Kitchen or Midtown East. It's not hard to get to and has some really great photo ops. The Little Mermaid in Copenhagen. True, the statue is not worth it, but, sitting on a bench in the sun next to it and watching the tourists almost falling in the water trying to get a picture with it can be quite entertaining. The Fountain of Youth in St. Augustine, FL. Had a drink out of it when I was 12. I'm 28 now. Stupid fountain doesn't work. 0 5 stars. Myrtle Beach, SC. If you're on the SC coast, go somewhere else, like Charleston. It's so much nicer. It varies wildly based on what you want. If you actually want to spend time at the beach, skip Myrtle. There are so many incredible beaches on either side of Myrtle, it's a waste. You wanna get hammered at biker bars, play some mini golf, eat some incredible pancakes, go to tourist traps like Ripley's Aquarium, Medieval Times, or do some shopping at all kinds of outlet stores? Myrtle has you covered. Wall Drug in South Dakota. I'm not sure if all highways around there have the billboards, but driving from Wisconsin you see Wall Drug billboards for hundreds of miles. As a kid we stopped there and it seemed like a massive place full of candy, toys. As an adult I stopped there with my wife so she could experience it, and it was way smaller than I remember and full of crap you wouldn't want to buy. The Badlands, Crazy Horse, Mount Rushmore, Deadwood, and Custer State Park are all worth seeing, emo though. The Gum Wall in Seattle. Why would you want to take a picture in front of someone else's chewed up gum? To be fair, the Gum Wall is super easy to get to and you are probably already there to see Pike's Place Market. So might as well swing by really quick for a few minutes. I'd say the original Starbucks at Pike's Place is a waste of time, it's crowed and it's the same coffee you get anywhere. Leaning Tower of Pisa. Do you really need to take the holding up the tower picture? Or the picture of everyone taking the holding up the tower picture? South of the border. You see sign after sign saying that you're getting closer. Once you get there, it is a big disappointment, unless you want to buy fireworks and eat crappy food. More people need to Google this place to understand just how crappy it is. Borderline so bad it's good. When we drive from NC to GA, the kids count the billboards. Last time was over 80. I made the mistake of eating at the restaurant once. Instant regret. The Sears Tower in Chicago. If you're a tourist in the city, take an architecture boat tour instead or have a drink at the Signature Room in the Hancock and enjoy the view from there. I'm from Chicago and I absolutely love the Sears Tower, but mostly for what it does to the skyline. I have only been to the observation deck once in my lifetime, and I don't really have any desire to go back. I wouldn't plan a trip around it if I was out of town, unless it was like a quick stop amidst many other stops. But that being said, the Chicago skyline is beautiful, and it plays a key part of that. Drive south on I-90 on a clear night, absolutely gorgeous way to view it. Or even just standing on Jackson and looking up at the sheer size of the thing is worth checking out, if you've never been that close to a massive skyscraper before. It's pretty awe-inspiring, at least to me, and I've seen it countless times. Call it the Willis Tower, I dare ya. Disney World in the summer. It's overcrowded, too hot, and expensive. Way better in January. Excuse me, but you need to delete this. If we tell people that it's better in January, they're going to go in January. And the whole reason to go in January is that nobody else is there. Paris is the only destination I know of with a medical disorder named for people who visit it and are subsequently disappointed because it didn't live up to their expectations. I wonder if there is a syndrome for the opposite. Everyone on Reddit keeps saying the Mona Lisa is small, the people are rude, and that Paris is overall disappointing. So when I went, I braced for the worst and was extremely pleasantly surprised. The Mona Lisa wasn't as small as everyone makes it out to be. Everyone was extremely nice and the city is incredibly beautiful. Totally agree. I loved Paris and everyone was so kind. Plus I went straight to the Mona Lisa and got a nice photo with no crowds and no people around. I guess the key is going in with no expectations and knowing that you'll have to make a bit of an effort to make the most out of a foreign country. Hollywood Boulevard. It's ugly, full of tourist traps and there's tons of homeless people that look really unwell mentally. God damn, LA is an amazing city, but the amount of severe mental health problems is really depressing. I genuinely saw, in 1 hour, more instances of completely lost, horrific and distressing insanity than I have seen in my whole life in England. Space Needle in Seattle. It's an expensive elevator ride. The Waikiki Strip in Honolulu. There are so many cooler places on the island to spend your time. Oh man, my so and I stayed right in Waikiki this past summer and dear lord, how could anyone enjoy it there? The beach right off the strip has so many people you can't even relax. We gladly left daily to go anywhere else on the island. Places I've enjoyed: Valley of the Temples, Waimea Bay Beach. This place was amazing, provided you can find parking. Makapu'u Lighthouse Trail, Bishop Museum. Really any beach on the west side of the island. Hawaiian Island Cafe in Waimanalo, and get a gorg sandwich shop for cool things from Polynesian treasures in Halewa. Get some little surfboards from littlesurfboards.com. Really that's the biggest compliment I can give for my time in Waikiki, was finding this vendor on the strip, and we didn't have time to check out all the other cool trails in the eastern mountain range. Oahu is a great island that had the unfortunate luck of having all the tourists. Dubai. It's held up as one of the premier tourist destinations in the world, but when I was there it felt like an amusement park under construction. The view from my hotel window looked half like a modern city and half a poor typical Middle Eastern town you might see in any movie. The entire time I was there it felt like I was being shuttled from one tourist spot to another. I usually like to walk around a city and take it in, but Dubai was terrible for that, given how spread out everything is. Phuket, Thailand. Planning a vacation there during high season, November to March, means you'll be sharing the beach with tons of other tourists, and while this may improve if you go during low season, you'll most likely be dealing with more rain at that time of year. Plus, trash and water quality is a problem. Riza, it used to be a great holiday destination, but since all the Starfleet flyboys heard about it's become overrun looking for Jamaran, it's become super annoying. Disney World. It's hot, crowded, expensive, and a giant marketing machine above all else. I'd much rather spend half the money to go to Bermuda or the Caribbean. It sounds like you're not the targeted demographic. For kids it's anything but overrated. Mannequin pies in Brussels. A tiny little statue in the corner of a building surrounded by too many tourists trying to take silly photos with it. Las Vegas. I am by no means a prude, but that place is horrific. Vegas is truly one of the most polarizing destinations you could think of. You love it or you hate it, there's very little between. I'll chalk myself up in the in-between category. I went a couple of years ago with my friend for a night. I have no interest in gambling, but I genuinely enjoyed walking around the strip and through all of the hotels. Yes, it's all artificial, but it was fun. We wound up doing a bar crawl of sorts through the different strip hotels. It was enjoyable and our Mandalay Bay room was reasonably priced, but our drinks were, unsurprisingly, too expensive. I'd like to visit again once I'm slightly richer, preferably for a concert. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm sure there are a couple of places that are nice in the area, but the whole beach area and all the areas where all the attractions, hotels, beaches, restaurants were full of the trashiest, most disrespectful people I've ever seen. It was so dirty everywhere we went, garbage, etc. People everywhere were constantly getting so drunk, high they would throw up or fall down, or both, no matter time of day. It was FN gross. You could not pay me to go back. Don't tell people this. I need them to continue to go for the airbrushes, shirts and Confederate flag beach towels, so I can continue to enjoy the beaches an hour north in peace. Edit. The place you want to go is Ocean Isle Beach, NC. The Alamo. Just an old building with a bunch of tourist traps built around it to suck money out of your wallet. Okay, here's the deal with the Alamo. It's not supposed to be fun or exciting, that's not what it is. It's a battleground, and the site of a massacre of Texans and Americans who were fighting for their freedom. It's a historical site that's drenched in blood. It was turning point in the Texas Revolution that sparked the anger in the rest of the state to rise against the Mexican army. So it's not fun, just like Arlington Cemetery isn't fun. It's a boring historical site, but it's an important one that led to the creation of the country of Texas, and then it is the reason Texas became a state. Well, that was just about every single place I've wanted to visit. F*ck it, I'll just stay home.